Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Sugary Goblin 87. Thanks for the suggestion, Goblin. You asked, how does cotton candy get its fluffy texture? If you've ever held a giant pastel-colored cloud of cotton candy and thought, wait, this is just sugar. How is it floating? You're not alone. It's one of the weirdest food transformations out there. 1 second it's solid sugar, the next it's a fluffy, melt-in-your-mouth treat. So, if you've ever been curious about the magic behind this Carnival classic, stick around. We're about to spin up the science, uncover the secrets, and possibly ruin cotton candy forever by comparing it to something unexpected. Right here on Explaining Everything. So, here's the deal. Cotton candy is made entirely out of sugar. That's it. No flour, no mystery chemicals, no may contain traces of disappointment like store-bought cookies. Just sugar. But the way that sugar transforms? That's where things get wild. The process starts with a cotton candy machine, which looks like it was designed by a mad scientist with a serious sweet tooth. In the middle of this machine is a spinning head with tiny holes in it. This is where things start heating up, literally. The process starts with the machine heating up the sugar to around 300 degrees Fahrenheit, 150 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to melt it completely into a thick, syrupy liquid. So far, nothing crazy. Just your average don't stick your hand in this level of danger. But then, the real magic happens. The melted sugar is pushed through those tiny holes in the spinning head at high speed. And because the machine is spinning like a DJ at a wedding, centrifugal force sends the sugar flying outward. Now, here's where sugar turns into sorcery. As soon as those tiny threads of sugar leave the machine, they cool down almost instantly. Since they're so thin, the sugar solidifies in midair into delicate, wispy strands, basically turning back into a solid, but in a whole new shape. This is where the fluffiness comes in. Instead of being a dense sugar block, the sugar gets stretched into thousands of super thin strands, trapping air between them. That air is what makes cotton candy feel light, airy, and like it might just float away if you stare at it too hard. Now you might be thinking, wait, is cotton candy just edible spiderwebs? Honestly? Kind of. The way cotton candy forms is eerily similar to how spiders make silk. Both involve liquid being pulled through tiny holes, rapidly solidifying into fine threads. So, if you think about it, eating cotton candy is basically just eating spider silk made of happiness. You're welcome for that mental image. Here's the thing. Cotton candy is literally just sugar. But when you eat it, it somehow tastes more magical than if you just ate a spoonful of sugar like a chaotic toddler. That's because of a couple of things. First is aromas and color psychology. Most cotton candy has added flavors and colors like blue raspberry or pink vanilla. Your brain sees the color, smells the flavor, and goes, "Ah yes, this is obviously the taste of joy." Second is texture trickery. The way cotton candy melts instantly on your tongue gives it a completely different experience than just eating sugar. Instead of crunching, you get that fluffy, vanishing sweetness. Your brain interprets that as, this is different. Therefore, it must taste special. And lastly, there's childhood nostalgia. Even if you haven't had cotton candy in years, your brain remembers that this is the official snack of pure fun. The smell alone can trigger Carnival memories, even if the last time you went to one, you got ripped off at the ring toss. Now that we've talked about the technical stuff, let's get into some fun facts about this sugary treat. 1. It was invented by a dentist. Yes, the very people who warn us about eating too much sugar. A dentist named William Morrison co-invented the first cotton candy machine in 1897. The irony is thicker than a funnel cake. 2. It was originally called fairy floss, which honestly is way more fitting. If I told you fairies spun this stuff out of pure magic, you'd believe me. 3. It's mostly air. If you ever felt guilty about eating an entire cotton candy in 5 minutes, don't. It's literally about 98% air. The other 2% is your impending sugar rush. 4. It dissolves in water instantly. Try it. Drop a handful of cotton candy into a glass of water and watch it vanish like a magician's assistant. It's one of the most dramatic ways to remind yourself you just paid $5 for flavored air. So, to recap, cotton candy is made when sugar is melted, spun at high speed, and stretched into tiny, fluffy strands that trap air, making it feel light and magical. The process is oddly similar to spiders spinning silk. It was invented by a dentist, because of course it was. And it barely counts as food, because it's mostly air. Yet, somehow, it remains one of the most fun and nostalgic treats ever created. And even though it's basically sugar floss, we still act surprised when we eat it, and it immediately melts into nothing. So next time you see a giant pink puff of cotton candy, take a second to appreciate the weird science that made it possible. And then devour it before it disappears into the wind. Because let's be real, cotton candy waits for no one. If you enjoyed this video, or if you're suddenly craving for a whole stick of cotton candy, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.